Hi everybody, it's Crazy. It's Friday and it's time for the UPBGE video of the week. Now, before I get started, gotta give a shout out to my trusteds because you guys rock. To my Crazy fam, love you guys. And to my patrons, thank you for all your support. Now, we're up to episode number 15 and we're going from the book called Game Development with Blender. It's called the Game Engine book. If you haven't started from the beginning, you just jumped right in. I suggest go back to the beginning, get a little bit of knowledge of what Blender did, some of the Blender's history and some of the features that do come with Blender. Now, this is for an older version of Blender. That's why I'm using 0.2.0 and not BGE because it's the older version. So let's go ahead and get started. So we left off here last week. Let me find my mouse because it decides to disappear. Let me apologize for my voice. Sinuses go off because of good old seasonal allergy, so please forgive me if my voice crackles a little bit. All right, so we left off here last week. I'm going to bring up the... let me switch it back over to... Where are you at? There it is. Okay, I'm on the other screen right now trying to fix where I messed up before, so I had to go back to it. So if let's put that on 7. There we go. Okay, so this is where we left off, and we haven't done anything but just create the cylinder. We mirrored the other side, so that way when we grab it, it will, it will clip where the edges are, and it will copy the same exact area, okay? So we can't do much with the current mesh. We need more vertices to model the shark, and we will use the loop cut tool for that. In edit mode, press Ctrl R. This will show a purple edge on top of the cylinder. If you move your mouse over the mesh, you can choose where to slice it. In our case, we want to cut parallel to the base of the geometry. To confirm the command, right-click in the window and either move the mouse to slide the new edge loop or escape to cut through the middle of the cylinder. If you scroll your mouse wheel before you confirm, which is basically clicking the button, okay, you can do multiple slices at once. Okay, so let me show you what that is. All right, so if you hit Control and R, if you notice, you've got these little purple lines now that you can do. Okay, so let me hit 7 so you can see it from top view. Control R. Okay, so you see you can do it this way, you can cut this way, cut this one that way, and so on and so forth. We're going to do it here. Okay, now if you scroll your mouse wheel, as you notice, those purple lines get longer and longer and longer. It gets more and more of them. What that does is just makes it easier for you to cut through more lines. We're only going to do one. Okay, we're going to hit that. Now, if I right click it, it's going to default right here, but we don't want that. Okay, so Control R again, we hit click, and then we bring it to wherever we want. Okay, so I'm going to put it on wireframe mode so you can see where we actually need it. And a lot of times you'll do a lot of wiring moding, be in wire mode to be able to see what your picture has. And so you can make a better copy of it. So we hit Control R again, and you'll see a purple line. You hit that, and then you can just bring this right on down to right here. Okay, as you see, you can slide it just about anywhere. Okay, you can also hit Control R again and do the next line. Okay, and I'm going to put this one on that line because that's where the little fishy is, but we might change that later. Okay, so we're going to continue doing that for a couple of lines to get the lines that we need. Now, I'm going to let y'all continue on doing your lines, okay, by yourself. Go ahead and do that and, line them up to where you can maneuver them around. And once you got these set, all you have to do now is follow along, right? Okay, so here we go. All right, so now we got our loop cuts on our cylinder. As you see, now it has loop cuts. And if I put it back to solid mode, you'll see them loop cuts without seeing through it. Okay, so that's what we need. All right, so we go back to 7. We're going to put it back on wireframe so that way we can see, because we're going to have to move these guys. Okay? We will slice the cylinder on every section where the outline of the shark has a significant change in its slope. Okay? So we want it on each one of those lines right there, because those are going to curve around. Okay? Remember to save the file, and if you want to compare your progress, you can check the file under shark 2. Okay? Mine is shark underscore 2, but make sure that you always save it. Okay, so you hit Control S to save. Okay, or you can come up here to your file and hit Save As. If you hit Save As, you can change that number to 3, or you can even kick it back to 1 if you really wanted to, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm not going to save it right yet because we've got a little bit more to do. But it's always best to save. All right, so since this is a shark and not a sausage, we need to accommodate the new mesh arcs to follow the reference image, which is this reference image right here. Okay, the B key will turn box select on and let you select one or more vertices at once. So if you hit the B select mode over here, okay, and hang on, let's put this over to vertices so you can see it. Hit B again. Okay, now I can select all the vertices. Okay, I can select these vertices. Okay, or I can select these vertices. You can select whichever ones you want. Okay, another useful shortcut is Alt and the right mouse button. Okay, so I hit A and I hold the Alt button, and then I do the right mouse button on this line right here. Okay, you notice that each one got lit up. Okay, if you hold Shift Alt and then right mouse button, it will select them and continue on as if you were just selecting the lines. Okay. On Linux, it's actually Alt Shift and then right mouse button. I don't know what the adding lines to it is on Linux. If you know, put it in the description below. We'll hop on over to the server, let the guys know over there too as well. See, let's go down to the next one here. With the arc selected, you can grab them and move around, or grab them. Okay, so let's hit Alt and right mouse button. Now you can hit grab and you can move them around. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to hit B. I'm going to hold the shift button, and then I'm going to click, because it's going to unselect this group right here. Now you can hit grab and you can maneuver these anywhere you want. Okay, hold that shift button down and it will unselect. Grab and it'll do the same. Okay, and then you hit B again, shift button, grab, and do the last one here. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to do these, and I'm going to be talking about a couple other ones that we can do when you go to scaling, rotating, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be off of that while you're doing your model. Okay, because I'm going to do this later on, and next week we'll have the one that we've completed the shaping of the body of the shark. Okay. All right, so when necessary, you can use the S key to scale them around them. Okay, so you can actually scale them. Okay, so let's do Alt and right mouse button, and you can hit scale. So now you can scale them around. Okay, little added feature there. The transformations, which is rotate, scale, and even grabbing, always happen relative to and around a pivot. Okay, by default, the pivot is the 3D cursor. In most cases, it's actually the median point. Okay, so it used to be the 3D cursor way back when, but then they decided the median point was better. Okay, let's see here. For example, to pivot around the center of the selected vertices, you can change it, for example, to pivot around the center of the selected vertices. To change the pivot, use the shortcuts comma and period, which would be the current selection and 3D cursor. Okay, So we have it set on medium point, and if we hit comma, and you look down here, it'll change, okay, to 3D cursor. This one just does bounding box. Let's do period. Okay, that one does 3D cursor. Okay, so when you switch between these, okay, it's going to do those. So just remember, it's going to try to do bounding box or 3D cursor. You want to do it medium point. Okay, best one to have. See. Okay, or you can go to the menu by right here, and you can just change it yourself. Okay. In fact, a lot of the other options in the 3D view header are important for modeling, such as snap, proportional editing, vertex, edge, face selection, and can be found right down here at the bottom. Okay, you've got your vertice select, edge select, and face modes. You've also got your proportional editing. You've got snap to functions. You've got a bunch of functions you can work with. Okay, all kinds of neat things. We'll go into those a little bit later on. We're not going to go into them right now. Well, at least not this second. At this point, you can start exploring the top view as well. For quickly switching to top view, use the numpad 7 or toggle quad view on and off. So basically, if you hit 7, 1, or 3, your numpad, on the numpad, it will be relative to top, front, and right. Okay, so we're going to do top view, and we got front view right here, which is 1. Okay, if I switch this one to top view, you see it, and then you switch it to 1, or you can switch it to 3. Now, right now, I'm going to use 3 for this one because they want you to keep it on this one but Susie's face is in the way, so we can't really do anything with that. But here, we can see the side view, and we can grab the vertices to wherever we want. Okay, this is where proportional editing is going to come in, and we'll go into that in just a minute. Sometimes you need to transform the geometry only in one axis. You can use the handler to pull if you want to move an edge in a specific axis. Okay, so you can set these up to where is it at? Right here. Okay, say you wanted to just grab view, you can pull these guys. Okay, wherever you want them to go. But it's easier to hit grab so that way you can actually exit out of it. If you grab this, you're going to actually have to hit Control Z if you didn't want it to go there. So you got to kind of watch out for those. They don't really have a, oh, you sure you want to do that, button on there. I wish they did sometimes. Okay, you can also use the keyboard for that, which is G to grab. Okay. To restrict the transformation, press X, Y, or Z after the command and slide in the specific axis. So if I wanted these to go on the Z axis, I can hit grab and use the letter Z. And guess what? Now I can move on the Z axis. I can't move on any other axis. As you notice, the Y and Z axis, I can't do anything, but I'm moving on the Z axis. You can do stuff like that by just hitting like grab, and now if I wanted to use Y, you see I can move it on the y-axis. Okay, so you would use the letters X, Y, and Z. See, I gotta catch up to it. Shift X, Y, or Z works in the opposite way. So if I wanted to do grab Shift Z, you notice that I can move an X and Y axis, okay, but I can't move in, hang on, let's do it right here, grab Shift Z. Now I can move I can move on X, I can move on Y, but I can't move on Z. Grab Shift Z, let's do it again. See, now I can do it. I was in the other one. But as you see, I can't move on X. But if I also hit grab Shift X, now I can move on X and Y, or Y and Z, but not X. Okay? See, it locks the transformation for the opposite axis, so you can only move or scale or rotate in a plane. So you can only scale or rotate or grab it in the X plane or Y plane, but not in the Z plane. This is really useful. We use G with Shift Z all the time. I do it a lot. Okay. You can also use the proportional editing tool. Okay. Proportional editing tool is, let me scroll back over here. Right here is proportional editing. Okay. Sometimes you don't want to move individual vertices, edges, or faces. And edge loops and box selected areas are too big to be transformed as a single unified block. To use proportional editing, press O. So if I'm over here and I press the letter O, you notice that down here proportional editing was turned on. If I hit it again, it will turn off. Okay? To use to use proportional editing, press O or go to the icon in the 3D view header to toggle it on and off. So, or you can go to right here and you can turn it on and off. You can use projected from wherever you're looking at, or connected, or you just leave it disabled. Now, if you move a vertex, all the neighboring vertexes will tag along. The influence of the tool is determined by the circle around the pivot. Again, see how important the pivot is? You can increase the size of the circle of influence by scrolling the mouse wheel up and down. So I'm going to show you that real quick. We're going to hit O to go into proportional editing. Okay. I'm going to hit grab, and as you see, there's this little circle around here now. So it's this little white circle. Okay. You notice that as I move my mouse, that it sits there and it pulls a certain amount of vertices. The wider you go, the more it moves. The wider you go, the more it moves. Okay, the smaller you go, the smaller the field of effect will be. Okay, and this does it through whether, as long as you have this on. If you have this off and you hit grab, okay, it will still do all of them. Okay, but it only does a certain amount. Like if I just do this one, I got all them selected anyway, but that doesn't matter. Okay, if I did one vertice, okay, that one right there on this side, and I hit grab, and I bring that all the way out, you'll notice that the bottom will move, but not the top. Okay? So you want to have this on if you want to move all the vertices, see? So now if I hit grab, okay, and I scroll out, now all the vertices move again. Okay? So you got to make sure you have that on. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to leave it off there. Okay, or leave it at this part, and I'm going to say this last little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. But I want y'all to continue to model it, because like I said, I'm going to model it out and finish it up. So that way when we come in next week, you'll see this part of the body, this little grouping right here. Okay, because then we got to put the Susan head on. Alright, so with these tools, you can get to the stage of Shark.3, okay, or Shark 3. Also, in this file, there are some sketch lines on the top of the 3D view. These are made with the grease pencil tool to help block out the shape before modeling. They are temporary markers and nothing more. Therefore, they are removed once the model is finished in Shark 4. Although we can already add a tail to the shark, this poor shark still can't swim. So next week we'll be putting the fins on and stuff like that. But you can put the fins on if you'd like, it's once you get this modeled out. But I'm going to only do just this part right here. And next week when we come back to this, I'm going to go back to solid view. You'll notice that this is one face, and we're going to actually change that to where it's actually a pie form, okay, instead of this, so we can pull the tail out and the head out. Okay, so with that being said, we'll go ahead and leave it right there. finish up doing this part of your model. Use your references, use your scale, use your rotate, use your grab, use your proportional editing if you would like, use your box tool, use your circle tool. There are so many tools you can use in Blender that can help you out modeling your character. Give that a try, and we'll go from that next week. And I want to see how you do. If you would like to take a screenshot of your model that you have made and send it to me on Discord, or link it in the comments below, and I would like to see what you got and see what you come up with. See if you come up with one similar to mine. All right. So till next week.